About 10 years ago, we got really lucky, and we bought a Victorian here in Blue Lake. And as soon as we got it, everybody said, man, that is the red lady. And when we got it, we thought, what a beautiful house. And all of a sudden we went, oh my God, it's a red lady in very deep distress. And Marvin was living across the street, and he didn't tell me about that. I wish he had. So we had to hire this Mad Hatter crew. We thought we'd save some money. And we embarked on this 9-month journey, this insane renovation. We did the foundation, the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the porches. If there was anything to do, we threw money at it. And then one August day, these crazy hyena fix-it guys pushed me too far, and I said, get out, all of you, and I fired them all. It was like throwing the buyers and sellers out of the temple. And the next day, I just sat there with my head in my hands. I thought, what's going to happen first? Divorce, bankruptcy, or spontaneously combusting from fear? And I looked at the Times Standard in the sports page after the box scores, and I realized it was the last day of the Humboldt County Fair. We go every single year. I thought this year we have to go more than any other year. I thought if I just got to the fair, something good was going to happen. So I got my 4-year-old son, Jesse, got him in the car. I said, we're going to the fair, Jesse. He says, how many rides can I go on today, Dad? And I said, well, I don't know, but you're not big enough for a lot of them. But I get to go on the Ferris wheel, right, Dad? I said, oh, yeah, for sure. But I get to see some horse races, too. Okay, Dad. So we got down to Ferndale, and we got to the fairgrounds, and this is like the Wrigley Field of racetracks. It's all old wood and soul, the ghost horses of races past. And we sat up high in the grandstand, and we're looking out at the rolling hills, church steeple, lone hawk swooping, and I'm sitting next to my son with a beer, cheering on those B-grade horses and mules. And I thought, man, the craziness of fixing this house was 1,000,000 miles away. And then we walked into the fairgrounds chewing on some kettle corn. And there was this palm reader, that's always sitting in that box, at the Humboldt County Fair. She says, read your future, find your true path. And I walked right up to her. I said, listen, you find me an honest contractor, I will give you $100 on the spot. And she says, I can do that for you and more. And I kept walking. I thought, where was she when I needed her before I hired those lunatics that worked at our house? Then all of a sudden we heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the 8th wonder of the world. The human cannonball is about to be shot out of that cannon and fly through the air and land in that net way over there. Be ready to be amazed. And Jesse said, what's a human cannonball, Daddy? I said, well, I don't know. I've never seen one, but I guess they're going to shoot that guy out of that cannon. Is he going to be blown up? Is it going to be cool? And I said, I don't know, Jesse. I hope not, but we'll have to see. Now, I didn't know if it was really going to happen. Then they go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom, this enormous explosion. And this guy in his blue helmet goes flying over a corn dog stand, and he lands in this net 200 feet away and jumps in the air, and everybody goes crazy, yeah! Including Jesse and I. And Jesse said, Dad, that was so cool. I want to do that when I grow up. And I said, Jesse, you got to finish kindergarten first. He said, but after that, Daddy. And I said, okay, we'll see, Jesse. So then we walked into where the rides were. And we get on the Ferris wheel with all the colored lights. Just like that. And we got to the top, and all of a sudden it stopped. And we were just kind of swaying in the breeze, looking out at the hills. And we could hear all the screams and yells coming from all the heavy rides. And we got up there, and Jesse was looking down at all the rides with his tongue going over his lips saying, Daddy, are you old enough to ride the hammer or the gravitron? I said, yes, I am, Jesse. Am I ever going to be old enough to ride the hammer? Yes, someday you will. Did you ever ride the hammer? I said, yes, I did. Well, why don't you ride it now? I said, well, Jesse, it makes me dizzy, and it really scares me, actually. And he goes, does it scare the people that ride it now? I said, well, yeah, I think some of them, it definitely scares them. And he keeps looking. He says, Daddy, why do people do things that scare them? And I started laughing. And he says, no, really, Daddy, why do people do things that scare them? And I said, Jesse, I think they want to get that feeling, that a thrill, that their stomach's being tickled. You know what I mean? He said, no, I'm not sure. He said, Daddy, do you think the human cannonball is scared? I said, well, I bet he is. Yeah, I bet he is. But you know, Jesse, I think he knows he's flying through the air for all of us who can't fly. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure, Daddy. I want to come back to the fair tomorrow. I said, Jesse, this is the last day of the fair. We're going to have to wait a whole year to come back to the Humboldt County Fair. Oh, Dad, I wish it was always the fair. And I gave my little boy a hug. And I said, me too, Jesse. Me too.